Fest is back, starting today. Our cultural exchange country this year is Colombia, and what you were hearing was a cumbia by Los Guidos, who are based here in New Orleans. Representing the mayor today for us is the senior advisor to the mayor, Julius Feltes.
Good morning. Look, I'm excited to be here on behalf of the mayor. And you know, I was so glad when I drove up, I saw the sign that says Jazz Fest Press Party. And when you're at a party, you come to celebrate. And down at City Hall, we have a thing we call a BAM. So I want you to know that BAM means something exciting. And over in the gospel tent, it may mean amen or hallelujah. So I want you to join with me and give us a BAM to the band and to all the folks here. On three. 1, 2, 3, what? BAM. 1, 2, 3, what? BAM. Good morning. Thank you. To Quint Davis, the producer, director of Jazz Fest. To Tara Hernandez, the president, board of directors of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival and Foundation Incorporated. To Doug Shipley, president of the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots. To Walt Leger, president and CEO of New Orleans and Company. To Fred Palmer, U.S. Corporate Relations, Southeast Region, lead Shell USA. Rachel Blanco, New Orleans Market Manager, Expedia. I am Julius Feltes, Senior Advisor to the Mayor of the City of New Orleans. For over 50 years, the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival has cultivated and preserved the unique music, food, art, and traditions of our beautiful city. From its beginning in Congo Square in 1970 to now sharing our culture with hundreds of thousands of visitors from around the world. Jazz Fest seamlessly blends local names and national acts, offering something for everyone to enjoy. Food vendors and artists share their goods with Eagle Festival goers, allowing people from all over to taste the experience of our great culture and talent. This year, the Cultural Exchange Pavilion will feature Colombia, highlighting our city's special bond with Latin America. Let's give a 1, 2, 3, what? The mayor would also like to recognize the important work of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation that they do all year round in support of our culture bearers, including education, economic development, and cultural enrichment. Thank you to all the festival sponsors. Let's give them a BAM. 1, 2, 3, what? For continuing to invest in New Orleans, her people, and our rich, unique heritage. Working stronger together, we must keep the culture of New Orleans alive. Investing in our culture means investing in our people. The city is bursting with excitement for the 53rd Jazz Fest. We look forward to being back out on the fairgrounds in just a few short weeks for what is sure to be another memorable and spectacular event. 1, 2, 3, what? Thank you.
Thank you, Felton. That's a hard act to follow. As you know, the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, or you should know by now, is owned by a nonprofit foundation, New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival and Foundation. And like Felton just said, they work every day, all year round. They have WWOZ under them. It's a really important organization, and the president of the board of directors is here with us, Tara Hernandez.
Good morning, everybody. Well, Julius was right. It's a Jazz Fest party, press party. And why is that? Because in New Orleans, we like to do things a little differently. And so we said, today is the official kickoff of the greatest fundraiser in the world, where we, the foundation, utilize our proceeds to teach, build, and celebrate the music, culture, and heritage of communities across Louisiana. We start this by providing 10,000 free tickets to not-for-profits to be entertained and to eat and have a great time at our festival. We teach through our programming with the Don Jameson Heritage School of Music, over 250 kids ages 8 through 18. And through music business offerings with our Sync Up programs and small businesses with our Catapult. We bill by awarding over $2.5 million, you heard that? $2.5 million in community partnership grants and impact grants every year. And of course, in New Orleans, we like to celebrate. And so with our Congo Square Rhythms Festival, our Treme Creole Gumbo Festival, our Crescent City Barbecue and Blues Festival, our concert series, and our beloved WWOZ community radio station that can be heard across the world. We like to thank our donors, all of our supporters, and you, and especially the team that makes this festival happen. So to find out more, please visit jazzinheritage.org and prepare to hydrate, bring your dancing shoes, your appetite, and prepare to have an amazing experience. Thank you, and we're ready to roll.
Thank you, Tara. In 1972, Jazz and Heritage Festival moved to the fairgrounds. And obviously, we've been here ever since, and we don't want to go anywhere else. There's been a lot of different owners of the track, but since Churchill took over, we've never had a better partner, supporting us through Katrina, Ida, and everything else. And one of the great reasons for our relationship with this track is its president, Doug Shipley.
Thank you, thank you. Fairgrounds has always been incredibly proud to be partnered up with Jazz and Heritage Festival. And it's been an absolutely amazing partnership for the last 53 years. It's just been amazing. And when you think of New Orleans, a few things really hit home for most people, and Fairgrounds and Jazz Fest is on that list. We cannot wait for this year's lineup. It's truly going to be probably absolutely epic, as we're seeing, and probably one of the best jazz fests that we'll have to date and be proud to host here at the Fairgrounds. As Quint mentioned, we have a really good relationship. I value that relationship. And Fairgrounds, we just look forward to another 53 years, Quint. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. All right, well, here's where the rubber meets the road. These are the people that work to put the heads on the beds, which we have to have the successful festival. Please welcome the president and CEO of New Orleans and Company, Walt Legere.
Thank you, Quinn. It's great to be here today with so many partners and friends that we work with, not just for Jazz Fest, but throughout the year. Our mission at New Orleans and Company that we do on behalf of our almost 1,100 members, our board of directors, and so many of our partners across the community is to inspire, promote, and encourage travel to the city of New Orleans for the social, economic, and cultural benefit of the community at large. This event is an honor to help promote because it is one of the most iconic that our city has. We all know that in 2025, our city is preparing to host the Super Bowl. Fortunately for us, every year, our city hosts the Super Bowl of culture, and that is the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. In fact, Jazz Fest began in 1970, the same year that the first Super Bowl was hosted in the city of New Orleans. Both of these events bring tremendous cultural and economic impact to our city. And of course, when our city and tourism industry are doing well, the state of Louisiana does well also. What's also special about this event is not just that it attracts people from all over the world, but also it's an event that the people of our city and of our surrounding parishes and of those around the state get get to enjoy. And it's an example of world-class opportunities that we have to celebrate here because of the ability to attract people to our amazing city. To state the importance of, the cultural importance of Jazz Fest is to recognize that it brings people and press and social media coverage from all over the planet and helps to drive priceless publicity that we use around all over throughout the year to attract people here. In fact, recently Afar magazine named New Orleans as one of the top 10 places to visit in the world in April, ranking the city as number 8 because of Jazz Fest. We were listed among global destinations like Istanbul and Venice, and what they said was this: April is great for seeing into the soul of the Crescent City. 2 words, Jazz Fest. Sure, New Orleans is a city with a soundtrack year-round, but its love of music has no bounds this month for the 53rd of what's officially known as the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. It's hosted here because New Orleans is where jazz was born. It's mashup musicianship, a reflection of the unique cultural influences throughout its history. Earlier this year, New Orleans was also named by Time Out magazine as one of the best cities in the world, and TripAdvisor recently named New Orleans as the best food destination in the United States for the 2nd year in a row. And while we know that people come to Jazz Fest for the music, we also know that they come for the food. And I personally can't wait to dig in to a soft shell crab po' boy. Thank you again to Jazz Fest, to the foundation, to all of the partners that make this possible. It's our honor to work with you each and every year, particularly excited about working with you this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. Another part of the city of New Orleans that supports the festival and works with us when we need something is the New Orleans City Council. I'd like to recognize the Councilman Eugene Green is here with us today.
Thank you very much, Quint. Not only am I here today, I'm very excited to be here today. I'm always pleased when I have an opportunity to celebrate and share in the great culture that our city has, but also in the business that we do in our city. We don't get enough attention for the order and the harmony that we have relative to business and culture in our city, and Jazz Fest is an example of the good that is involved with that area. I want to thank Quint Davis for his vision. He and Festival Productions, everyone associated with it. What an activity that you have created over 53 years. I was here for the first Jazz Fest. It was a little bit different back then, Quint. I remember it was a little bit of mud that day, but at the end of the day, here I am 53 years later in a position within the City Council where I have a chance to celebrate Jazz Fest. I'm so excited. To Tara Hernandez, the chair of the board of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, thank you for your work, for your continuing public service. To Walt Leger, the CEO of New Orleans and Company, thank you, Walt, for promoting our city the way that you do always, wherever you are, whether you were in the state legislature and where you are now. We appreciate that work that you do and the way you promote our city. Mr. Doug Shipley, the CEO of the Fairgrounds, kind of a really under-recognized entity in our city in terms of economic development, hosts many events, such as the event this weekend where the governor was present, but also provide security in this neighborhood, which is making this neighborhood one of the safer ones in our community. Doug, I see all of the work that you do because I'm a city council member, and I just want to say thank you, Doug. We appreciate the work that you do. Major events are us in New Orleans, and I am so pleased and proud whenever we have a major event here that they do so well. One of the reasons they do so well is because we're such a safe city, especially with regards to major events. I know we have concerns. Major events, I'm talking where we bring hundreds of thousands of people into our city, as we're going to do with Jazz Fest. Well, one of the reasons for that is because we have such good security and such good law enforcement presence. And I do want to take an opportunity. I know a couple of members of the New Orleans Police Department are here, and we have a couple of private firms, but especially for the members of the New Orleans Police Department. Can we give them a round of applause for their work? for their work in making the city safer. And we're moving in the right direction in many respects, but also when I see them, I say thank you because I know what goes on behind the scenes, and they're going to keep the visitors to Jazz Fest very, very comfortable. I'm pleased to strengthen our culture through the Jazz Fest. I'm so pleased that we showcase our city to the world through Jazz Fest. This year we'll be focusing on Columbia, but the bottom line is that people will be coming from throughout the world to New Orleans, and the Jazz and Heritage Festival is a great way to show them the best that our city has to offer. Business owners. Many times we don't talk about the fact that the business owners who do business at the Jazz Fest are located right here in our city of New Orleans. Restaurant vendors, security firms, artists, musicians who are incorporated, who are into our culture. We appreciate the fact that the Jazz and Heritage Festival provides so much opportunity for them. I'm a city councilman. I also want to thank the neighborhoods around the Jazz Festival, the neighborhoods around this fairgrounds, because many times we don't pay attention to the fact that, yeah, this is going to be a sacrifice a little while. Maybe you won't get that prime parking spot in front of your house. But the bottom line is that we don't have a lot of complaints because people know that the Jazz and Heritage Festival is so important to the city of New Orleans that it's worth putting up with a little bit for a while. So to the members of the DeSay community, to the Fairgrounds community, to the Esplanade Ridge community and others who see our visitors and who treat them well and are nice, I also thank you for the work that you do and for promoting our city. Let's have it for our neighborhoods. Yes, I'm into a lot of thanks. I want to also thank, this will be my last thanks. I want to thank the Jazz and Heritage Festival and everyone associated with it for what you do to provide opportunity to organizations such as churches. You don't know how the people look forward to coming to the Jazz Fest to be able to sing in the gospel tent, or they look forward to coming as musicians to participate in the tents where they can ply their trade so well. But also there are organizations that generate a lot of money. I'm a member of a fraternity, the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Inc., and we sell beer at the Jazz and Heritage Festival. And you know what we do with our money? We provide scholarships for high school students and for college students. And so I just want to emphasize, as I have, and I really appreciate this time, Quint, the positives of the Jazz and Heritage Festival, but look at the example that I gave. I bet you didn't know that there are that many organizations out there, whether it be the Alphas and whether it be the Kappas and other organizations that provide scholarships to young people based on the enthusiasm and the economic impact of the Jazz and Heritage Festival. So as I close, this is a day of great celebration, the 53rd Jazz and Heritage Festival. I'm so honored to be in a position to represent our city, and Jazz and Heritage is a reminder of why I'm so pleased that I raised my 3 children here in this great city, why I'm so pleased to be in a city that celebrates its culture, and while I'm so pleased to be in a city that in many respects, such as this activity, is doing things right. Thank you, and happy Jazz Fest 53rd.
Well, in the fall of 2005, the Jazz Fest was teetering on the edge. Coming out of Katrina, we didn't have the funds to go forward. It was getting later and later in the year. And then one day, 3 or 4 gentlemen showed up in coats and ties in our little office. And they said that they had come to bail out Jazz Fest and put it back on again. And that was the people from Shell USA. In the room, one of those 3 gentlemen was Fred Palmer.
Well, good morning, and if you were here last year, you heard me tell with great pride that story of, actually there were 2 meetings. There was the first meeting where Virginia Miller and I went through the doors of Jazz Fest and said how we can help. And that resulted in a very quick turnaround to that other meeting with a few other suits where we committed to being the presenting sponsor. And here we are 19 years later. So why is this relationship important to Shell? Well, we've been in the state for over 100 years. We have over 3,000 employees that live and work here. We have over 4,000 retirees that choose to continue to live here. We have every aspect of the energy value chain, including newer energy value chain, represented in Louisiana. Our footprint goes from Port Allen to the Gulf of Mexico and touches 9 parishes in between. And as I like to tell people, if you looked at Louisiana and our presence and investment in the Gulf of Mexico and in Louisiana and looked at it globally, it would rank as a top 4 country for Shell globally. So that's the corporate piece. Why is it important to me personally? On Monday, I'll celebrate my 22nd anniversary with Shell. And thank you. Between then and next year's Jazz Fest, I will step from that 3,000 employees into those 4,000 retirees bucket. So I am very much looking forward to celebrating the 2024 Jazz Fest as an active Shell employee, and then a lot of Jazz Fest after that as a retiree. But there's a common thread. There is a common thread that ties the corporate piece with the personal or individual piece. I have several of my team members here today. I have other colleagues. And to a person, if you talk to them, they'll talk about care for people within Shell. And that's something we not only apply towards our employees, our colleagues, but also to the communities in which, around where we work. And it was that care for people back in 2005 after Katrina, where if you wanted to leave New Orleans, you could have and gotten a free pass then. People would have understood. And we had quite a debate. And it was not an overwhelming consensus. And the president of Shell at the time said, we don't abandon New Orleans at their time of greatest need. And that created our Shell is Coming Home campaign. And that's where the Jazz Fest relationship and many other things were born. I am pleased as I get to the end of that 22-year career to have 19 of those years and the beginning of the Jazz Fest relationship start early in that, but there's a new relationship developing. Prior to COVID, we undertook a body of work to determine what is our longer-term presence in New Orleans. Many of the people that have been on the dais and are in the audience today were with us in September when we announced that we were committing to a longer-term presence in New Orleans by being the anchor tenant at the River District. So to have my time with Shell bookended by the beginning and the 19 years of an incredible relationship with Jazz Fest and the beginning of this next relationship with the city just reemphasizes the importance of New Orleans, Louisiana, the Gulf of Mexico region to us. So thank you very much. I'm going to borrow from the mayor. You know what I'm going to ask for on 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Everybody always wants to know what's new. What's new this year? Well, there's something new this year that's a big, big thing for us. It's going to grow the festival internationally. It's going to create tourism for the city of New Orleans, and that's our new partnership with Expedia. Expedia will be the official travel partner, but they've also going to be the sponsor of the Cultural Exchange, the Expedia Cultural Exchange. Here today with Expedia, Rachel Blanco.
Good morning. I'm Rachel Blanco, Market Manager with Expedia Group, based proudly here in New Orleans. Expedia and my local colleagues are thrilled to be the official travel provider for the New Orleans Jazz Fest for 2024 and 2025. I'd like to thank all of our hotel partners who participated in our inaugural campaigns. Your support has been instrumental, and we look forward to continued relationships and to strengthening our commitment to the vibrant city of New Orleans. Thank you.
Okay, well, while we're celebrating our corporate partners, I'm going to give you a quick listing of all the people that work with us to help support the festival year in and year out. Of course, Shell USA, Expedia, Miller Lite, Louisiana Office of Tourism, the First Horizon Bank, Ochsner. Ochsner Health is going to sponsor the Kids' Day at the festival and also sponsor the Children's Tent. So they really grow into. Morris Bar, the Gospel Tent. I see Morris. Hey, Morris. That's been a great partnership for us. People's Health, Tito's Handmade Vodka, New Orleans and Company, Wild Turkey Bourbon, have a ball. Rockstar Energy Drink, Maui Jim Sunglasses, 1 million strong, Coca-Cola, New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund, and the Sheraton Hotel in New Orleans, and WWOC Radio. Sheraton Hotel New Orleans is what we call our host hotel, and they've really been a host hotel. In Katrina, when we had to try and put the festival on, and people didn't even have houses to go to, the Sheraton put us up for months so we could put on the festival. I mean, they are really our home hotel. All right. Now we're going to move into the festival. First of all, the complete listings of all the Jazz Fest food, all the Jazz Fest art, and the cubes are now on the Jazz Fest website, nojazzfest.com. Everything comes through nojazzfest.com, tickets and everything. This year, 2024, Jazz Fest is probably the biggest that we've ever tried to put on. Well, we will put on. It's big in every aspect. It's the most food vendors. It's the most food items. It's the most craft artists. It's the most bands that have ever come together for one festival. In 2023, we had 54 food vendors serving 185 different foods. This year, we had 2024, we have 60 food vendors serving 208 foods. Now, there'll be some new people that are coming in new, and then some of the people that we didn't have with us last year are coming back. And some of them are here today. John Ed Laborde from Marksville, Louisiana, who does crawfish bread. One of the favorites is back this year, and he's back over there. Yolanda Casby, who does, the sweet potato pies. Oh my God. And turnovers, she's back this year. And Klessy's, who's a new vendor with Cajun crawfish, dirty rice. So we have new people coming in. We have our family coming back. The festival has 3 major craft areas, as I assume you know, but that's Contemporary Crafts, Louisiana Marketplace, and Congo Square African Marketplace. They will present, we will bring through the festival 260 art and craft booths of this festival, because they change per weekend. So the cubes, which tell us who's playing where. You already know who's playing each weekend. You already know who's playing each day. What you don't know is where they're playing and when they're playing, how long they're playing, actually. And so that information is now out on nojazzfest.com as of right now. So, let me get my other sheet. Hand me that. We have another band on the festival this year that's playing on May the 2nd. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about that and answer some of your questions. When the Rolling Stones come to Jazz Fest, I've been trying to say that forever. Third time's the charm. Well, there'll be a full day of Jazz Fest. All the food vendors, the craft vendors, everything will be going. The stages will come down around 3:30. And as of then, they'll come down one at a time, because when the Stones hit at 5 o'clock, all the other stages will be down, and just then. Now, it's a limited capacity that we put together because we didn't want to be overcrowded. In fact, that day is sold out as of now. So you should go to the website again, nojazzfest.com, and look at the guidelines for May 2nd and see, what's going to happen out there specifically. Okay, now we have a poster. As you know, every year we have an art poster. So a little group of high school girls call themselves the Dixie Cups, put out a record called Chapel of Love that was a major hit in America. This year, well, if they did it in 1964, this is 2024. So it's the 60th anniversary of Chapel of Love. Is Kelly Talbot here? Where's Kelly? Oh, there she is. No,